2/3 of the angels rebel in heaven. I really would like to be God and make all the rules and not have to do what he says. I want to do what he does. I want to be God. So they separate themselves, right? Yeah. And then they come down and they start messing with, and okay, then God says, I'm going to create me a world. This is the lineup of how it happened. But before I do, I'm going to create a being. And this being is going to be before the foundations of the world, I'm going to create this being. And it's going to be everything that the bad angels wanted to be. But it can't be that unless I'm in it. A temple. It's a temple for me. And this is how I'm going to trap and ensnare the bad guy. I'm going to create this little being, and it is going to be smarter than them, and it's going to be able to move mountains with a thought, and be able to heal with a touch, or a prayer. Be able to do all the things that I can do, and all the things the bad angels wanted, and they're going to be so pissed off, and they're going to be so jealous, I'll be able to catch them. And so that's you and me. We were created before the foundations of the world for this time, right now.
Yay!
We're created especially with certain skills.
Predestination is a requirement. Believing in predestination is a requirement to be a Muslim.
Well, it's not just that. It's whatever you're feeling at the moment. If you're feeling peace and you're in an orgone place, they can't touch you. But if you're not feeling that, and if you're in fear, they can take you because you're in their energy.
Remember that song, Can't Touch This?
This is real important. People need to get this. If they don't get this, they're going to be taken. And did you see Cowboys and Aliens?
No, it looked like it was going to be funny. I was down in Glenwood Springs at that time camping. I didn't really do much mainstream I didn't get to watch many movies last year.
Well, anyway, I happened to see it, and it's real interesting because they have these things that come out of their little spaceship that grab people off their horses and take them out, to be experimented on. So the rapture may be one is in the bed and one is and one's taken and the other left. It may be that the bad guys are taken because they don't have the right attitude. You have an attitude of covetousness or got a bad attitude, they can take you. That's the whole thing about, you were drunk, you were to take a ceremony, you got taken. So God says, be careful, don't be drunk, don't, be careful how much wine you take.
Yeah.
Be careful what you do, because you don't, in that day, you want to be ready to run.
Well, there's things like, when I read the prayer books about how to wash yourself for the prayer, it mentions things like you'll be held to account in the day of judgment for every drop of water you use. You're not supposed to be wasteful. Everything you have to be so mindful of, and to be mindful of it, you actually have to study and know what God wants from you, and you can only learn that through His prophets and what they revealed, and then. But
you also have to be careful. One of the things that I learned, that religion, I studied it with Saudi Arabians, okay? And then I went to Egypt for the, new millennium show in front of the Sphinx and pyramids. And when I got there, I was, I said, La ilaha illallah. And then
you know a little bit of your terminology there.
Huh?
I said you got a little bit of the terminology, huh?
Well, there's no other guy but God.
Uh-huh.
And Allah is His name.
You're ahead of me on that part. I forget how to say it.
Okay, well, anyway, the Egyptians said, no, that's not how you say that. And I said, what? What am I getting? Because I know this is correct. No, that's not how you say it. Now, watch this, because what you're talking about was one drop of water. This is very Saudi Arabian, because they'll say, well, if one hair gets in the mouth during the fast, then you've broken the fast, okay?
Well, they were in the desert, too, so they were really sensitive to the amount of water that they had available, I'm sure.
Of course. Very, very strict. And so I'm asking the Egyptians, why did I say it wrong? And basically they're saying, this is how you say it. La ilaha illallah. It's in joy and happiness, not in sternness, and you better not, and you're going to be judged. If you want stern and rough and wild people, you go to the desert.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not that it's bloodline or that bloodline, but you're going to find Apaches and people like that are going to be a little bit more fierce because they live in the desert. People who lived in Egypt have a much nicer life, but that's because they started doing it with the nicer feeling. Rather than roar.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and there's a middle path where you're supposed to be stern yet gentle. I don't know. It's all a middle path. So.
Well, the middle path is all okay. There's 3 columns. One is the right, the left, and the middle. The middle column is your chakras or endocrine glands. We hold spooky stuff in our endocrine glands. We hold all kinds of problems in there. And
endocrine and the pineal gland, huh?
What?
Does that have to do with the pineal gland?
That's one of 7 glands that connect to your chakras, and we hold all kinds of crap in there. And when I do Prime Directive, we go into each one of those and clean it out. And we don't have to look at that. We clean it out, and then we go back after everything's clean, and then we go deep and find out. Because by then, after you clean that out, and it only takes 1 session to clean it, you can see things you never saw in yourself before.
That's true.
So the work that I do is very deep.
Yeah, when you're doing the right thing, you can tell because things really start happening fast.
Well, people will call me the next day and